kind of feel like I'm staying at like Cousin Bob's.
After a great stay in the Tetons with friends, it was time to head south back to Colorado to get ready for the birth of our granddaughter. But we are not done hanging out with these guys. More on that later. While getting to the original destination is the purpose, don't overlook the fun you can have on the way back. That could be a destination in itself. We spent 4 nights on our way back and stayed in 2 towns in Wyoming that are probably not on anybody's radar, but they were really interesting.
This is super cool. So
Do you think back then they had a unisex bathroom?
on the same schedule.
Yeah. Well, that's timing.
I know. How
We're
about
like,
that?
oh crap, where are we gonna hook up?
This is fine.
I said, he's like, I think we got plenty of room right here.
Yeah.
Especially on a tiny Lance's coming through.
Yeah. Teeny tiny.
We left the Tetons and went back to the town of Lander, which we stayed at on the way up. Deb and Joel were staying there as well, and we planned to explore together the next day.
We had a grand time, and we are on the road right now, headed back to Lander, Wyoming, and do a little exploration there. I'm not sure it'll quite be the same as the Grand Tetons National Park, but it'll be fun. There are some things there that we're kind of excited about exploring. So anyway, thanks for all the fun to our friends that we got to share that with, and until we meet again, everybody be safe.
Well, I guess after the adventures finish in Grand Tetons, the adventures continue. So we're 2 nights here in Lander, Wyoming. We stayed here on the way into the Tetons. Great little place called Sleeping Bear Resort. But there's a really cool place not too far from here, literally 20 minutes away, called Sinks Canyon State Park. And it's basically where the river goes under ground for a little bit and then reemerges. And from what we understand, even geologists don't know exactly how far the water goes and underneath and whatnot, but it's supposed to be really pretty up there again. We're going up into the Wind River Range Mountains, but it's only 20 minutes from downtown Lander. So we're meeting Deb and Joel from Chasing Our Sunshine there and continuing our adventures. All right, slight correction. We're going to go to Sinks Canyon, I believe, but we actually came up to Popo Agie. We'll just spell it. P-O. Well, actually, I'm not even going to spell it because I don't have the spelling, so we'll just put a comment below here and a little, see it where it is, what the hike is. But it's going up through waterfalls, about 3.5 mile hike. So, and then we'll do that, and we'll do the Sink Canyon.
Well, we are here with friends again. Deb, Joel, and Maya gets to hike with Meka today. So we're fixing to head out to the Popo. How do you say it? Popo Agie Falls. I'm not sure how you pronounce that.
Don't ask us because we pronounce everything wrong.
Well, we're gonna go explore it and experience it, even if we can't pronounce it.
So
So we started to hike here, and actually even in the drive-in was really fascinating is that one side, and it's literally one side of the road is rocky outcropping like this, and the other side of the road's right over there, and it's basically forested. And we did see on the drive-in a bunch of aspens. Can't see them here. On the other side of that big peak, it's a bunch of aspens way up there. Of course, they're turning colors, but it's just fascinating how just that separation, and look literally the river. So I guess the river is really where the separation is of the types. But yeah, this is very mountain lion looking, and that's very bear looking. So we'll see which one approaches us first. Bridge right here looks a little sketchy. So the bridge isn't too sketchy after all. It just needs somebody to come clean it up. But so those falls were amazing. Hike was not bad. I was the slow one today. I'm just not feeling good today, so I kind of held everybody up, but we made it eventually. All right, now we're coming back down the mountain. Now looking at this, maybe it's not a camel. Maybe it's Toucan Sam, whatever his name is. But leave a comment below. What do you think? What do you think it looks like? Oh, we had to let Meka get in the water a little bit, although that was a little hard for her because
that was too, like the rocks were too jagged for her for that spot. But we'll try down here.
Like Mick Jagger?
Yeah.
Pam had packed 2 things of water, unfortunately, and she always puts lemon in her water, which I like. It's a good diuretic. It just is more, seems to be more satisfying.
Vitamin C.
Yeah, little vitamin C, very little vitamin C. But we normally pack just regular water for Meka, and we forgot to do that. So we tried to give her some of the lemon water. Didn't like it. Thank goodness Deb had some just normal drinking water, so we gave her a little bit of that. She didn't drink that much for this amount of a hike, so we had to let her get in a little bit. Now, she didn't drink any. That water looks super clean. We've let her do that before. There's been some places where we don't want her to drink the water and she gets in, and she does lap some up, and we've had 2 instances where she's actually gotten sick after that. So, but that probably just cooled her off a little bit. I may go back there and cool myself off a little bit too.
Well, it turned out that Sinks Canyon was closed that day, so we couldn't go. But later that night, we met Joel and Deb at the Push Root Brewery in downtown Lander, and they had literally just opened that day. It was time to head out and toward our next stop, the small town of Saratoga, where they have free hot springs, big ranches, and a unique piece of history at a nearby mining museum. Along the way, we pass a fascinating little town called Jeffrey City, once a thriving uranium mining town, but now it's basically a ghost town. We just went through a little town in the middle of nowhere, Wyoming. It's called Jeffrey City, Wyoming. You may have heard of it. I'm not sure. There are like 50 towns in the United States that have a similar history to this one. Basically, it was discovered back in the 30s, or I'm sorry, it was settled back in the 30s. In the 50s, they discovered uranium in the mountains that are just beside this little community. Shortly after, they got a contract with the U.S. Atomic and Energy Company, and that contract required that
they provide housing for all of their workers. So the town basically boomed. They built all of these kind of barrack-looking housing places for their employees to live. They developed the whole city and community. It grew, had schools, they had hospital, blah, blah, blah. Well, in 1979, the uranium industry burst due to the what was it called? 3 Mile Island meltdown. And so now, shortly after that, everything in that city closed down. People left, and it's become a ghost town basically now. But it's pretty interesting because a lot of the buildings are still standing. The roads, asphalt roads, have become grass. It's kind of interesting. But anyway, if you're ever out in what part of Wyoming would this be?
Way out there. Way out.
On the way to the Tetons, you pass through this community, and a lot of interesting history. So I just thought I'd share that with you.
This is all right, but there's already I hate to walk behind his rig, but I'm like, I don't know.
Okay, over 3 years traveling, mostly full-time on the road, and we just arrived to a place in Wyoming, and this is a first, so we wanted to share this with you. Maybe you've seen this before, I'm not sure. It's interesting. You can see they've connected back here to the electricity, and they run their own cord over this far to give us power. Now we got to get power from here to there.
Pretty sure this is not to code. I'm worried about because it's going to get cold tonight, and we got our portable heater.
Well, are you better off to put
I don't think it'll reach our cord.
No, to put our watchdog on that cord? Are you no?
I don't know. Let's just hope you have power. Okay, well, that's that.
That one's ours, I'm pretty sure. Ooh, sounds like a haunted house. We really need to get some kind of lubricant on these hinges.
Kind of feel like I'm staying at like Cousin Bob's. The worst part is, you know, these campgrounds that are Good Sam campgrounds, some of them let you put the discount code in, some of them don't. This one didn't. And so we didn't get the discount.
After the unorthodox hookups, we got set up and it was time to enjoy what this small town area has to offer.
Well, we came to this town of encampment.
Wyoming.
And it's not what it sounds like. I mean, you know, encampment seems like prisoner of war.
Yes.
And this is not a prisoner of war camp. This is an old mining town that mined copper.
Back in the 1860s.
Is that a gondola or is that?
This was part of what was the longest tramway in the world in 1903.
What was part of what was?
The cables and the
Sounds
cars.
like a little bit of word salad to me.
The cables and the cars, it's all part of the tramway that they built to carry the ore from the mines down to the
How much does it cost?
smelter or whatever.
How much does it cost to ride that ride?
It's closed.
Yeah, we're going to go check out the museum. It's kind of pretty. This town is right at the foothills of some mountains because there's nothing but mountains out here. So let's go check out the museum. This cabin was built in 1877. I don't think it was here. They probably moved it here. But an interesting thing about back then, people were definitely short. I'm 6'2",
Yeah, that would be a head knocker for sure.
That's a head knocker. Hey, somebody's coming.
This is super cool. I mean, I actually think it's pretty incredible that all of the metal is still as intact as it is, to be as old as it is.
What is that behind? What is that behind you? Is that not a Canon? It's a log lifter.
No, yeah, it's what they lifted the heavy logs with. I read the little thing. I'm so knowledgeable.
Well, if you stayed at a Holiday Inn, you wouldn't have had to read the thing.
What?
So we are going to chalk this up to first time we've ever seen anything like this.
This is just very unusual.
Very unusual. So this is a 2-story outhouse. Men to the right, women to the left.
And the purpose of the 2 stories is for those winters when the snow was
So
8
high.
feet deep. You obviously didn't want to dig out the first level, so you went up to the second
Yeah, I
level.
was thinking, man, I would hate to be the person on the bottom level when the guy on the top level had tacos for dinner.
Oh my gosh.
That'd have been bad. But check this out. So Pam's not sure exactly which one she should use.
It's so interesting. So
Do you think back then they had a unisex bathroom?
So there's 2 sizes of holes. It says choose your size. So I guess if you were a child, obviously you didn't want to get the really big hole. And then they have fur, like animal fur, that you would use to cover the area where you would sit so that you were comfortable. It's crazy.
But I still think you can kind of see that it's offset a little bit because it's got to fall back behind the one on the bottom, because that would be bad. Anyway, we've never seen one before, may never see one again. Man, just when you think life's rough, think about when you had to live in a situation like that. And check it out, they even got a magazine rack there. So apparently the judge who presided over the trial of the murderer of Wild Bill Hickok in Deadwood, South Dakota, lived in this cabin for a while. It actually was in Saratoga, and they moved it down here to encampment, I guess, as part of this display here of all these older places. But yeah, interesting history.
So I mentioned we're going to go somewhere else that is famous in Saratoga, Wyoming, and we have arrived. And I don't know if you can notice this, maybe might give it away, but this is where we are. You ready for this?
I'm ready. Free hot spring.